Welcome back, everyone, to Soda City Live. The 10th annual South Carolina NEDA Walk at USC is going to be this Saturday. It leads into NEDA Awareness Week. NEDA stands for National Eating Disorders Association. It is also a time that you can learn about the Caregiver Connections group, something very important for the loved ones of a person with an eating disorder. Karen McMullen and Margaret Yakel are the coordinators of the Columbia, South Carolina NEDA Walk. They also are co-leaders of Caregivers Connections in South Carolina. So glad to have you ladies here. And
thank you so much for having us.
We're so glad. And we've been talking about this for several years. Karen, I can't believe it's been 10 years now. Explain to our viewers why you brought this to South Carolina.
Yeah, so 11 years ago, my daughter was diagnosed with anorexia, and while she was in treatment out of state, she asked me to do the NEDA Walk. So I brought the NEDA Walk to South Carolina, and 11 years ago, of course, we missed 2020 because of COVID, so this is the 10th one. And I do it, luckily she is in very strong recovery. But there are so many people that I have met in the last 11 years that are just starting the journey, and I feel a need to continue to help others on this journey, because it's a very lonesome journey.
In fact, when we talk about so many who do suffer, 28.8 million Americans are expected, according to the National Eating Disorders Association, will deal with an eating disorder at some point in their lives. That's actually how I met you ladies, because we had our oldest daughter, who has, of course, given me permission to share her story over time, but she dealt so drastically with anorexia as well. That's when I found you, Margaret. You also had a child who dealt with it, and I think we all look at the fact that why would our child do, no one knows for sure why your child develops an eating disorder.
It's certainly very complex, it's very serious, and Karen and I have both shared the recovery journey with our daughters who were diagnosed with anorexia, but it takes a team sometimes of clinicians to help care. It impacts the family. It can be overwhelming. So the individual who's suffering will need the expert clinical care. They may need a treatment team, but the caregivers are day by day walking by their side. And the caregivers are very important and very impactful because they are there every day.
I'm glad you mentioned the caregivers, and you have the Caregivers Connections group, which I think is so key, because it's easy just to think that you can tell your child, oh, if you just eat, you'll get better. And it goes so much deeper than that. And we all know as mothers that that's impossible, and that's like one of the worst things you can say. So Caregiver Connections, I guess that's a way that you can teach the parents or the siblings or family members or the loved ones of the person with the eating disorder how to best help the person.
Right, and as I just mentioned, it's so complex. And so Caregiver Connections offers support to the families who have a loved one with an eating disorder. But what Karen and I hope to accomplish through that too is providing support, but also identifying educational resources. It's so important to educate yourself on the illness and potential comorbid conditions, and sometimes just lending a listening ear is very valuable. So, and by empowering and strengthening the caregivers, we know that impacts the individual who's affected.
As we look at the video of past walks, this walk, Karen, is going to be another opportunity for people who have maybe in that journey or have been through it, or just want to be supportive for others. It's free to register. There's not a cost to be part of it, but you do ask for donations, because that is turned around to help.
Correct, yes. Anyone can come. The more the merrier. It is Saturday. This Saturday it starts at 10. And yes, if you want a T-shirt, then they're asking you to raise $25 to get a NEDA T-shirt. Like this.
Yes.
But yes, all the money goes back to the National Eating Disorders Association to fund their programs, like their hotline and so forth.
Excellent. This is the T-shirt that you will get, again, just for $25 donation, but you can raise as much as possible. And will you show your book that you have before I give the information about Saturday?
Oh, sure. This is one of the more recent books that we recommend, and it's titled By Their Side, and it talks about the caregiver's journey with a loved one.
because it is a journey for the caregiver just as much as it is for the one going through it. Here's the information on your screen. The 10th annual South Carolina NEDA Walk at USC will be this Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon. Check-in is at 10 a.m. The walk begins at 11 a.m. You will meet at the Russell House. That's at 1400 Green Street on USC's campus. Registration is free, but of course they do ask for that donation, and the money donated will go to fund the group's programs. Do want you to note at the very bottom of the screen there is a National Eating Disorders Helpline. I've put that number there, 1-800-931-2237, 1-800-931-2237. Karen McMullen and Margaret Yeagle, you amaze me because you've walked this journey with your children, but yet instead of just saying, okay, you're out of the woods now, you're choosing to walk in the woods with so many other families as you did ours. So thank you.
Oh, we're so glad to be able to do this.
Well, you're amazing for this community. There is also a walk the next weekend at Clemson.
That's right.
And I know you'll be part of that as well. Thank you, ladies, so much.
Thank you.
All this information is on my Facebook page right now. You can go there to sign up. Still to come on Soda City Live, the Taste of Lake Murray's back. Details after the break.